This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Good performance. Unbelievable.
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear.
Oh, for more than 30 years.
How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
Can you imagine not just subjecting your kid to that, but allowing your kid, promoting your kid to effectively be a tool, even if you believe it and you don't think it's ridiculous propaganda, to promoting your child to being used as a tool, a pawn in that game of chess? Can you believe that? I haven't watched that in a very long time, and I forgot how utterly depressing that is. This is a kid who's being whipped up into a traumatic frenzy to think that her childhood and her future is being stolen from her by evil adults or adults that she refuses to believe are evil. The science has been settled for 30 years. I'm glad she picked 30 years and not 40 years, because in the decade before they were warning about global cooling, not about global warming. And her parents, it's pure child exploitation. And I at the time when she was a minor, I was like, I wasn't going to pick on a kid. First of all, it's not even her. She's being used as a tool by her parents. You'll see why this video is back in the news for today. That's what we're starting with. Refresh our memories as to who these actors and pawns and political tools are on the international stage. Now, before we get going any further, first things first, we shall make sure. Did I have a day and a half yesterday of streaming? I had Vivek Ramaswamy on in the morning, and I love it because he stayed longer than we had budgeted for time, which I take as the ultimate flattery. My fears, if ever I make it on with Rogan and the podcast is like under 2 hours, I'm going to think that he didn't like me, because those podcasts, they always go 3 hours. And I always wonder, when they go short, what happened between him and the interviewee? When a guest says, I've got an hour, and then they stay an hour and a half or longer, I take that as the utmost of flattery. I'm going to make sure that we're live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com at the same time. I believe we are. Just going to make sure. And then I'm going to talk about what is under my leg right now. Are we live here? We are live. Good. So if it looks like I'm sitting funny, I am. The Google said to put a tennis ball under my leg to alleviate the pressure on my sciatic nerve. But am I supposed to put it in my butt cheek? Because it feels awful uncomfortable. Bada bing, bada boom, I'm joking. I've been complaining about a sore sciatic nerve for a little while. Oh, I'm getting old, people. It hurts when I get up. My knees crack when I kneel down. I'm jogging every day. I'm doing my 4.7 miles, give or take. Do 100 curls with 20-pound dumbbells afterwards. But my sciatic is really killing me these days. But it'll come and it goes. These things happen. All right, we've got a show and a half today. I'm not picking on Greta Thunberg. I'm highlighting some very serious problems that the world should know. Sometimes you're speaking to a person, and other times you are speaking to others via the discussion with that person. Inasmuch as Greta Thunberg was a tool for the propaganda about the climate crisis 5 years ago, well, she's inadvertently or wittingly or unwittingly found herself as a tool in another public issue that's going on today, and we're going to get into that. She tweeted out something this morning. We're going to go into it in some detail. It was her standing with Palestinian rights, because this is now the conflict of the day that has to divide everybody across the world. We've got to nationalize foreign conflict and oversimplify, create dichotomies, create good versus evil, right and wrong. There are certain things where it is objectively black and white and good versus evil. When it comes to the complexities of the 70-plus year conflict in the Middle East, it's not as simple as taking sides despite what everyone wants out there. But she puts out a tweet that says, it's a picture, and it has Palestinians, I stand with the Palestinians, and then another sign that says climate crisis. As if that wouldn't have been offensive enough to grift off the plight of the Palestinian people to promote your climate crisis agenda, it got deeper and quickly. We're going to get to that. Sidney Powell pleaded guilty yesterday. We're going to talk about that. And Cheesebro just pleaded as far as the news goes. This morning, I have the article up on the backdrop. I was live with Hunley at noon. Barnes is live with the quartering now, and Hunley, I think, is still live with the lawyer crew. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you can all be watching in terms of enhancing your knowledge of what's going on in the world. And if you can't catch all of it in real time, catch it on reruns. Sidney Powell pleads guilty, and I think it's an absolute debacle. I think it's an absolute disaster. I think it's the first of the many dominoes. You know that meme of the small domino falling against the bigger domino, and then eventually that little tiny domino is able to knock down a door? That's what this is. We'll get to it. What else did I have on the back burner here? Oh, and then Marisa Streit from PragerU is coming on at 2:30. So we're going to have an interesting interview about what PragerU is doing these days. Got a lot of stuff. There's something else. What do I have in the background here? Hold on a second. Then some Canadian absurdity. I'm moving the tennis ball now. It's becoming a literal pain in the ass. But before we get into any of that, people, hold on. I know that I checked the box that said we have a sponsor for this video, because we do. Good. I'd like to thank our sponsor of the day is fieldofgreens.com. Let me bring up the screen, people. Health should be everyone's number one priority. When they say health, wealth, and happiness, health leads to wealth and it leads to happiness. So you don't have your health, you don't have anything, and it means taking care of your body and doing the right thing. Most people do not know how many servings of raw fruits and vegetables are you supposed to have daily. Everyone watching here is going to know, because everyone's above average in terms of knowledge. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. And I think the emphasis is typically supposed to be on the vegetables, because they're higher in fiber. The fruits are like nature's way of getting sugar. But we need sugar. People are supposed to have 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. And I dare say the vast majority of people do not have that. And instead, they get into bad habits of sucking down a disgusting Diet Coke in the afternoon, or a sugar-laden Red Bull. One of those little Red Bulls has... Is it 54 grams of sugar in it? Or is it 45? It's 45. It's a lot of frickin' sugar. You get stuck in bad habits. You don't eat your fruits and veggies. You don't end up sleeping well. You don't get your exercise. And then you end up feeling bad. And people turn to medications, where eating healthy, being healthy would resolve many of those problems. Field of Greens is what we call a desiccated fruit and vegetable. It's not an extract. It's not, what's the other word? An extract or a supplement. It's a food. It's USDA organic approved. It's made in America. 1 spoonful is 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. You do it twice a day. It's a healthy alternative to bad habits. It's healthy. And it gives you 1 serving twice a day. That would be 2 servings of fruits and vegetables twice a day. And if you travel, like I do occasionally, sometimes it becomes increasingly difficult to find raw fruits and vegetables on the road. If you go to fieldofgreens.com, promo code VIVA, 15% off your first order. Get healthy, do it, it tastes good, and it's a healthy habit to acquire. And once you acquire healthy habits, it becomes easier to promote a healthier lifestyle in general. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code VIVA, the link is in the description. Thank you. Okay, now, let's start with this. It's almost irrelevant, not irreverent. It's almost irrelevant, and I can appreciate that. But my goodness, I keep saying, is the focus? It's in focus. I keep saying that I should stop having debates on Twitter because it's not a place for, I don't even want to say nuanced. It's not a place for debate, for interactive discourse. It's a place for zingers, gotchas, tropes. It's an annoying place to try and have a debate, and yet I keep doing it, and I keep getting sucked into the bad habit of trying to do it. But alas, we're going to do it right now. And I won't get into the depths of some of the debates I've been having, but let me bring up. Oh, the post is unavailable. That's right, because she deleted the tweet. Well, okay, hold on. Oh, no, we're going to have to start in chronological order. The original tweet. Let me go find it. We need to find it. Here we go. Don't be distracted by where this is going. Just pay attention to the original tweet, which was the one to which I was originally responding. All right, here we go. Look at this. Bring it up. Here we go. Don't get distracted by it. Here we go. We're gonna focus on this picture right now. Are we seeing it? We are seeing it. Can I make it bigger? I can make it bigger. Okay, here we go. Conflict in the Middle East. It's an absolute tragedy. It's an absolute horror show, and innocent people are being caught in the crossfires of government and terrorist action, period. When I say there's certain things that are black and white, terrorism is black and white. That being said, and despite what everyone thinks would be the standard opinion that a Jewish person should have, I don't think that what Israel is doing in Gaza is going to solve the problem, is going to be productive, and I don't think it's going to do anything but exacerbate the problem. And I'm old enough to have lived through 3 cycles of this in the past, so it's not for nothing that I say this. That's a separate issue. I've talked about it. It's a very impossible discussion to have because tribalism runs deep, decades of grievances run deep, and you're not going to convince anybody who's already come to their opinion on it. Where I chimed in to highlight the absurdity of some of this, Greta Thunberg, a young person with very, very strong opinions on very complex issues, but maybe not the most well-founded opinions, tweeted this out earlier this morning. Now you know one of the parts of the punchline is the tweet was subsequently deleted. Week 270 of her own strike. She's just, it's got to be about me. How do I work this into my grift? Because I don't use that word very often, but I use it where I think a grift is a grift. Week 270 of her strike, which means it started 270 weeks ago. But now there's something in the news today. Let's see how we can merge the two so I can get some headlines. Today, we strike in solidarity with Palestine and Gaza. The world needs to speak up and call for an immediate ceasefire, justice and freedom for Palestinians and all civilians affected. So she got the catch-all in the end there. And then you have an image, and this is the image. One person says, free Palestine. I appreciate the sentiment and I understand the arguments. Bottom left says, this Jew stands with Palestine. I appreciate that there are a lot of Jews that stand with Palestine. There are also a lot of Jews that stand with Israel. There's also a lot of Jews that have some very, very counterintuitive positions on this debate. That's not what I'm focusing on either. I'm actually not even focusing on the circled octopus, but we're going to get there in a second. In behind, Palestinian flag on a poster that says, climate justice now. So I simply say, going back to my tweets, climate justice now with the Palestinian. We're entering a situation where an entire area is being leveled with bombs. Whether or not you think it's justified, whether or not you think it's productive, whether or not you think it's useful or going to solve the problem, set all of that aside. You're dealing with Palestinian civilians, innocent Palestinian civilians whose lives are being upended, and you put their flag on your climate crisis now and think that that's not somehow an insanely offensive grift off the suffering of the Palestinian people. And that is what I said. I wonder how innocent Palestinians would feel about you exploiting their plight to promote your climate justice agenda. The problem is you need to actually understand things in order to have an educated opinion on them. Like most children, you're good at the opinion part. It's your education that's lacking. And I didn't understand where this was going at the time because I go back to the post and it says the post not available because Greta Thunberg deleted the post. And so I say, maybe she realized how callous it was to grift off the plight of the Palestinian people to promote her climate crisis agenda. But no, I was just my moment of optimism quickly turned into pessimism that even I could not have anticipated. She deleted the tweet because apparently it contained something that could be deemed to be offensive or anti-Semitic. And, Greta's all about thoughtfulness and understanding. In her explanation, by the way, this is it. In the original picture, which many people probably would not have noticed, you see a blue octopus. I don't think the color makes much of a difference. It's an octopus. On the knee of the person in the back who's grifting off Palestinian plight to promote climate justice now. Imagine the death of innocent civilians and the justice that this individual wants while linking it to the Palestinian flag, climate justice. What's on that kid's knee? An octopus. Well, some people seem to have noticed that relates to certain anti-Semitic tropes, iconography, symbolism or symbology of the past. And apparently Greta was getting some hate, some blowback saying, hey, what the hell is that doing on the knee of the girl who is putting up a post saying, climate crisis now, we're ostensibly criticizing Israel, we've got the blue octopus. What does that mean? Some of you might not know this. And like I've had an argument with Kim Iverson, it doesn't matter what you knew or did not know. It matters what that person meant by putting that octopus on their knee in a post in which they're criticizing the state of Israel. It's an old, well-known anti-Semitic trope. My understanding is someone said that the origins of this particular anti-Semitic trope was that it's supposed to represent Winston Churchill, who's representing Zionism, grasping the globe. That's the origins, whether or not you knew it. That is the origin of the octopus. Greta Thunberg comes out and says, I didn't know what it was. It's just, some autistic kids use plushies to express themselves. That was her explanation for how that octopus ended up on the knee of that person who was callous enough in the first place to try to appropriate Palestinian plight to further climate justice now. And I said, I'm not believing it. I mean, how the hell does that happen? It's not an accident to the person who did it. When Gretchen Whitmer put in the 8645 in the backdrop, it doesn't matter that 90% of the people didn't see it or wouldn't have understood what it meant. It was put there for a bloody reason. Now, some of the flack that I've been getting is Viva's going all lefty and I'm not offended by that. I'm not offended by that. And call me a self-hater. And some people are going to say, you're doing this. Like I think I'm going to get in anybody's good books who doesn't like Jewish people in general. I'm not offended by it. I'm not insulted by it. I don't think she should be canceled for it. But don't give me a bullcrap excuse. We didn't know what we were doing when we propped up an octopus on the knee of a person in an anti or a critical of Israel post. Just say that you are accusing Israel of, like an octopus, expanding its territory into Gaza. That is the criticism. Don't pretend you didn't know what you were doing. And then people go in and say, Viva, I'm not about canceling. I'm not about ordering the takedown of it. I'm not offended by it. In fact, people's memories are so bloody short and their blinders are so bloody directional that they don't. I mean, I'm not getting any credit in anybody's good books for this. But the value of consistency is consistency. Consistency is its own reward. I don't find it offensive. I don't even think people shouldn't be allowed to post it. And I don't even think they should be demonized for posting it. I understand what they mean from it. They might not have appreciated the trope that it is. They are expressing a legitimate criticism, ostensibly, even though they might be using an antiquated anti-Semitic trope to do it, of an issue of political importance. I'm so not offended by it, and I'm so consistent in my reasoning. Y'all remember that guy Douglas Mackey? Hold on, I'll bring this out for a second. Y'all remember Douglas Mackey? Ricky Vaughn? The guy who I have been defending, raising awareness about, lamenting the outrageous sentence that he just got of 7 months for posting a meme that says vote by mail. I've been defending that guy since he's been charged, since before he's been charged. I've been saying that guy has gotten the stiff end of the injustice stick like nobody else out there. You remember how they tried to demonize him at the time? Oh, he's an anti-Semite. He posted anti-Semitic memes. Look, no one's going to say, this is Ricky Vaughn. He posted this. Do you think, should I care? Maybe I should care. Maybe I should be the one screaming, take it down. Oh my God, it's terrible. No, he posted this. All right. He's allowed to post things that I think are stupid. He posted the very meme, which also leads me to believe that there's no way these kids didn't know what they were doing when they put that up. Maybe Greta didn't know because she's not the one who did it. It was the girl behind her. Ricky Vaughn posted this. What does that change in my view of the injustice that Ricky Vaughn has gone under? Nothing. Do I think he should be canceled for it? Hell no. Do I find it mildly offensive? No, because I'm a lawyer and I can dissociate the expression of an idea from the idea itself. Does it make me scared that Ricky Vaughn tweeted that out? Does it make me scared that the girl behind Greta Thunberg put that on? No. But don't pretend that don't treat us like we're idiots. Don't treat us like we're idiots. Oh, great. Steve Britton. I said it. I'm forgetting something. Tabarouette. And I haven't looked at the super. I apologize, people on locals. It's like, I'm adding it right now. I didn't add the RTPM. So that's the irony in all of this, by the way, is that, the left applies rules. They wanted to cancel Ricky Vaughn because of that stupid meme. Okay, I wouldn't, but you said it was anti-Semitic when Ricky Vaughn did it. You said he's a white nationalist when Ricky Vaughn did it. Well, you just got caught doing it, and don't expect me to believe that you're such young babes in the woods. You didn't know. I didn't know. Here, hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna prop up. No, I can't even think. I'm just gonna prop up something prominently in a post critical of the very state to which that icon relates, and pretend I didn't know. And people out there so disingenuous in it's a little doll. What does it mean? People pretend not to understand symbolism versus the object. An object can be an object. It can also represent something. And so, yeah, an octopus sitting in some kid's room on the bed is a plushie. A plushie octopus sitting on the knee of a girl criticizing Israel in a post that they put out onto Twitter is no longer just a plushie. And anyone pretending it's just a plushie, disingenuous. Everyone's like, okay, Viva, now you're going to go out and say that okay is anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. Because I've already said that is an idiotic thing to do because the AOK was a meme that the ADL fell for with no historical use as the use that is deemed to be anti-Semitic in current times. So no, they're not the same. And you want to disingenuously pretend they are the same. Expect people to question your judgment. Oh, well, I didn't know that it meant something anti-Semitic, so no one meant it. It doesn't matter what anyone understood except for the person who did it. And obviously, enough people understood that Greta got enough blowback that she had to delete it, take that picture again, and post another picture, which is, in my opinion, more offensive than the one with the octopus. It's the one that cheaply, what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunistically seeks to grift off the suffering of innocent Palestinians so they can promote their climate crisis rubbish. Climate justice now. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what the innocent civilians and citizens of Gaza are thinking right now. Carbon emissions. That's what they're thinking. Greta. Oh my goodness. I love the fact that people didn't know that I'm Jewish. Yeah. I'm a very, very rule-breaking, bacon-eating, non-Shabbat. I don't talk about it in normal times because it's not something that's relevant to normal discussion. Everybody wants to understand why I'm 5'6" and, I mean, it can be used to explain certain things. It can be used to explain certain practices, history, culture. Yeah, my grandfather came from Poland, left in 1936 before the Holocaust, tried to go back to get family, was unsuccessful. We had 25 family members that died in Poland. The one that got away was my grandfather, went to Argentina, ended up in Winnipeg or Calgary. But I don't believe that my religion, what I was born into, dictates any of my beliefs. I don't think it legitimizes any of my beliefs, and I don't think someone not being Jewish delegitimizes any of their beliefs. So as far as an argument tactic, a tool of discussion, it's irrelevant. Viva could have played a hobbit. You're damn right I could have played a hobbit. Say, oh, it's a Hunley raid. Okay, I see what's going on. Oh, no, but that's it. So that's it. But, oh, no. Well, I didn't know what it's not. An octopus in and of itself is nothing. When someone puts it, 86 is just a number. 45 is just a number. When someone puts 8645 in the backdrop of a presentation they're giving to the world, that other people don't know what it means does not mean that the person who did it on purpose deliberately to show a point did not know what it means. And that's all that's relevant in this context. I don't think Greta Thunberg understood what it meant. She wasn't the one who did it. But to come out and say, Viva has reposted editing out of the. I don't know. Hold on. This is to come back and say I didn't know what we didn't know. I didn't know what it meant. It's just something for autistic children. I mean, it's an amazing thing to. No, what is this? I just bought 2.5-pound octopus and some live crabs from the seafood market. Well, take it. Context is everything, people. Let me see something. Hold on a second. Imagine running from the Nazis and ending up in Argentina. I think it was a way out, not an end destination. I think it was one of the places that was easier to get to. Viva Barnes is cheating with Jeremy. Hold on, there was a chat that I wanted to bring up. Oh, Viva, she reposted editing out the octopus. She didn't repost it. She just took the picture again. I don't think it was an edit because the image looked different. And that's all it's worth. I was actually angrier. I was just more irritated at the opportunistic exploitation of the tragedy of the Palestinian people so they can grift their climate justice now. That's what I was angriest at the beginning. Then I found it quite ironic. And then I found people's purported, this thing is, and Viva's getting to be a cranky old man. Okay, so on that note, everybody, we've got Hunley raid because his show's over. Barnes is not cheating on me. I might be cheating on Barnes because I don't have a schedule that I go with. The Quartering has his schedule and he's got his weekly interviews. And I actually learned about Barnes being on it last night but this morning while watching Barnes' Night Owl, Bourbon with Barnes on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. But there's more than enough time in the day to catch on rewatches. So before we head over to the Rumble, fieldofgreens.com will bring you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Go get into good, healthy habits because life is about habits. And so you may as well make sure that you have the healthy ones. Fieldofgreens.com brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition. And promo code VIVA will get you, what did I say? 15% off your first order. There's a link to Rumble. And while everyone goes, I just want to see the number go down from 722 to under 700 before we go there. Did I not bring up any of the super chats? See, I didn't bring these up. Oh, Maria Patel, FYI, Chris Guy interview. Brought out all the Jew haters in the comments section, both in Rumble and YouTube, hoping they were Chris Sky groupies. This is a one where I could picture my father watching my interview with Chris Sky and saying, more of my parents. People saying, how could you let that guy say those things? In as much as I know Chris Sky, I know that he expresses things provocatively. And I know where I disagree on not everything, because I can't disagree on everything he says. I know where I disagree on some of his interpretations of the same object, the same screen we're looking at. But I think it's important to let people express their thoughts, and then people can see the reactions. People can go assess them on their own. That's it. And he's hyperbolic, but he's well informed, although he might be mistaken on certain things. But it is also equally disingenuous to say, Chris Sky says right things on issue X, but because he says things on issue Y that I don't like, then I have to write him off entirely. I'm not going to write him off entirely. He's been right and wrong on certain things. I certainly understand the substance, to quote the Supreme Court. I understand the pith and substance of much of what he said, and I disagree with a lot of it because I think it's just interpreting the same set of circumstances differently through the blinders that we have. When he views Israel as the force, the dominating force for 70 years, they get their way, it's all on them. Well, that ignores, Israel being what it is in the broader context of what it is, which is surrounded by a billion people population of a billion of governments that are hostile. So looking at Israel and saying, yeah, Israel is the superpower over Gaza, whereas it's outnumbered and flanked by governments that are hostile to it, it's a question of perspective, how you look at that. But he spoke his mind, and people can assess accordingly. Scott McLaughlin, Sidney was simply running out of money. Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Local stream, I'm sorry, I just saw that, Steve Britton. Thank you very much. Florida Dad, if Greta wants to bring up her autism to excuse her behavior, Hamas kidnapped and murdered Naya Dunn, a 12-year-old autistic girl. Where is Greta on the rights of autists? It's horrendous. And I've said it before, but people seem to ignore that the Palestinian people are themselves victims of Hamas terror as well. A lot of people say it's free, they had free elections and they elected Hamas. Yeah. Chris Guy interview, my first ever viewing of a live rant of an anti-Semite. Still, I'm all for free speech. Question is, he'll say, he might be anti-Israel. Does he hate me? Maybe, I don't know. Does he think I'm one of the good ones? I don't bank on that in terms of dealing with people. Greta, I don't know what. What's wrong with it? What's wrong? If I'm reading this, that says Greta Thunberg is okay, I don't know that. All right, now we're going to end it on YouTube and come on over to Rumble. We're well under the 700 mark. Sorry for the last minute's reading of rants. Ending now, getting to Sidney Powell, Cheesebro. His name is Cheesebro.